If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaCombe.
Now I know y'all are tripping.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Spending a Monday, kind of putting the finishing touches on the NHL season for the Utah Mammoth. Hell of a year for the Mammoth, taking that step into the playoffs and being ever so close to knocking off Vegas. Had they got that win in Game 5, they would have been up 3-2. Vegas would have been on their heels, and who knows what happens at that point. As you mentioned, 90% chance if you're up 3-2 that you're going to win the series.
And there is some positive, right? SEG can actually, and Jim Olsen can actually do his job now with an actually somewhat sane timeline.
Yes.
A little bit of a stress-free zone.
And by the way,
I don't know if stress-free, but you know what I mean? At least not encumbered by two more weeks.
Somebody posted a picture of the next morning at the arena, and they already had all the seats covered. They were going to town that next day. They were not wasting any time.
They might even started working that night.
Yeah, hey, you got to go.
The window for this project is they have to take every opportunity. It's one in the margins.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be 2 crews, one during the day, one at night, and they're going to go nonstop because, they are up against it. And that's to do one half of the upper bowl, and then the following year will be the second half. And they want to, part of their plans, too, as it was explained to me, is that next year they fully anticipate the Jazz and the Mammoth potentially making runs in the playoffs. At least one out of the two.
We just said they were.
Yeah. And so they've actually kind of pushed back a lot of things in late 2027, anticipating that will be a even further pushback because, of potential playoff runs next year.
So this summer, obviously, Summer League is not being played in the building. It's at Huntsman. They typically, that building is busy during the summer with concerts and that sort of thing. That's totally shut down. It's going to be just getting ready for next year. And, again, it's going to be – I thought the adjustments and changes this year were great. Oh, yeah. It's even going to add more to that.
Sitting in that lower bowl
awesome.
This year as opposed to last year. And last year was still great. But this year, just oof, okay. All right, I see what we've done here.
I understand sightlines now.
Yes, exactly. All right, MacKenzie Weegar with some really good comments. This is from the essentially the post-season interviews, the locker room cleanouts from yesterday. Cole Bagley and the rest of the crew did a tremendous job. A lot of that sound is up in those videos at KSLSports.com. I wanted to focus in on this one because he had some really great comments about this team. Remember, he came in midway through the year on that trade. So he doesn't have a ton of time here in Utah. He doesn't have a ton of time around these teammates. But, boy, he paints a very bright picture for the future going forward.
First arrived, what did you know about this place? And in this short period of time that you got a chance to be here, what did that exceed the expectations of?
To be honest, I didn't really know too much. But everyththing exceeded expectations for sure. You knew the players, ownership, just the staff. Everything was great, but it's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been a lot of fun. The 2.5 months that I've been here, so I'm excited for next season already. Just kind of want to be part of the full journey. It can be a little bit tough coming in, trying to be yourself and whatnot, but when when you're part of the full season and going into playoffs next year, just kind of get back to being myself and stuff. But it's been an absolute pleasure playing for this team, and the fans here have been awesome. The city's been great. I got nothing but great things to say.
What did you learn most about this group as they're trying to push and build and continue down this path of momentum?
Yeah, it's a great group. Everybody, I'm sure everybody's been saying it. Like I saw Cools this morning say they're just scratching the surface and whatnot for what this team's capable of doing, and I believe in the same thing. But it just gets harder, for this group. I think we kind of have to understand that. Teams will be more prepared playing us next year, and we've set the expectations really high and the standard really high for this group, and we got to come, ready to go game one next season. But this group's been great. The leadership group, I got nothing but great things to say about Kells and Krauser and Sergey. Everybody's been great, and we obviously some things to learn, to take away from the season and whatnot, but really excited for what this team is going to be capable of doing here in the future. So it's been awesome.
How do you feel like you fit on the ice with this group when you first got here, and then versus when you these last couple of games in the playoffs?
I think I fit in pretty well. Can add some physicality, I think, for next season, kind of going into the summertime. To be quite honest, I wasn't really happy with my game. Coming from Calgary, it was a bit of a tough season. So I think next season I'll be super motivated to kind of get back to being myself and moving the puck up to the young forwards, and providing a little bit more stability on the back end. But I think my game fits well, with this team. Puck moving defenseman, can play both sides, offense, defense. I've kind of said that I'm a bit of a hybrid back there. I like to do it all, so I think I'll fit in great next season as well.
You spoke about your play not being up to your standards after coming over to Calgary.
Yeah.
What's something in particular you want to work on for next season?
Well, I was dash 33, so I definitely want to get better at keeping the puck out of my net. Getting back to being a plus player. I kind of pride myself on that my whole career. That stat, I've always taken pride in being a plus player. So I think just getting back to, playing hard in the D zone, spending less time in the D zone and moving the puck up to the forwards and playing a little bit more offense. But I want to get back to, playing hard, good stick, less turnovers. I think if I go into the summer kind of fixing that, then it'll just get better for this team, and playing with Sergey, and it'll be a lot easier for him as well. So I just want to get better in that area.
Are you and your family spending the summer in Salt Lake or somewhere else?
No, I'll go back home to Ottawa. Got a nice little setup out by the water, a little cottage area. So take some time away, just go hang out, enjoy the nature, and enjoy family and friends. My sister's having her first baby, so excited to kind of hang out with her and be around her, and welcome a new baby in November. So it'll be an exciting time.
How would you assess the way that the entire defense played during the playoffs in that series? And was there any areas that you look at and go, this is how we can be better and get over the hump next season?
I thought the D-corps has been great. If you look at the series, I thought Vegas did a good job at forechecking us, kind of wearing us down. But I think, you look at our D-corps, there's a lot of depth there, a lot of great players. I've mentioned this before. I think Johnny's one of the more underrated defensemen in the league. But I think it's kind of obvious that the thing that we can improve on for next year and learn is just kind of closing out those games. We obviously had the lead in a lot of the series, so it's just taking that next step and how to, get better with holding that lead. Whether it's being a little bit more physical in front of the net, boxing guys out, blocking more shots. I think it's, easy fixes, but you have to kind of go through that experience to learn from it, to fix it. But I thought the D-corps did a pretty solid job, moving the puck up, playing physical, getting on the score sheet, scoring some timely goals, some big goals for the group. But I really like our back end. I think it's an underrated decor back there.
You spoke very highly of this team when you first arrived, and then you just mentioned that everything has exceeded expectations. How has just your view of the team's potential maybe changed since you arrived?
Yeah, I'm not really, sure. The potential for this group is right now. There's just no reason for us not to think that we can win the cup. The belief. I think the belief for the group at the beginning of the year was to make playoffs, and to kind of see what can happen. I think now I believe that we have the potential to win the cup. I think that's kind of what needs to kind of be the belief now. But it's hard. It's a long road. It's not easy. But we just went to Game 6 with a cup contending team. There's no reason why we couldn't be on the other end, winning in Game 6. We went to overtime with them twice. The series could have easily been us, winning that series. So I just, the standard's obviously high. The expectations are really high. We got to know that it's really hard. Like I said, it's going to be harder next year. Just the teams are going to be way more prepared to play us. But we're going to get better. Everybody's going to take a jump. The young kids are going to get even better. The leadership group's going to get better. The older guys, but the expectation needs to be, to win the cup here. That needs to be the belief, and I believe that the guys in the room believe that as well. It's not just playoffs now; it's to hoist that cup here.
You mentioned you want to get to the playoffs every year, but nothing's ever guaranteed.
Yeah.
But you mentioned potential. Have you seen this little taste of a playoff run really drive these guys into the offseason?
Yeah, I think the hunger's there now. The taste is there. We got to see what it's like. We got to see how hard it is, which I think gives the guys motivation to come back, wanting more. I'm going to continue to say it. It's going to be even harder next year, the expectations and whatnot. But nothing, like you said, nothing's guaranteed. You look at Florida, you look at Winnipeg, both teams, President's Trophy, Stanley Cup, they were in playoffs this year. It's hard. Like every team is right there. The parity in this league is so tight. It comes down every year to the point differential of one team getting in, and there's always a race to the wild card spots, to clinch, the first seeds. It's a tough league. It's hard. But this group, I think, is going to get better. We're not going to go away. That's kind of why I said to move my trade clause, because I believe in this team, and I think we're going to be in the playoffs for years to come here, and there's a lot of good things to come for this group.
I'm curious, obviously you've played for different coaching staffs in your career. How does this one differ from where you came from, and what did you gain from this group to kind of fit in so quickly?
Yeah, that's a good question. All my coaches I've had have been beneficial for my career. I've learned from them all. I had Bear over at Worlds for a little bit there. Having him, I knew what his systems were kind of like and what he likes to do. But I would say the biggest thing, there's a lot of accountability with the coaching staff, and they want you to be great here, but it doesn't come easy. Like, you got to earn every shift. This isn't anything bad, but I don't think I've been benched probably, the last 5 years I got benched here. And it just goes to show you, like, the standards are high, and the expectations are really high here. And I like that. I like feeling uncomfortable. Kind of makes me more comfortable. Makes you want to earn every shift. You come in every morning to get better. And I think they do a great job at, setting the standard and, showing us, what our team's capable of. The video, the X's and O's here are great. Bear sets, great meetings. The coaching staff has great meetings. But the off ice, the communication, knowing where you're at, where you stand has been great here. So I've enjoyed playing under Bear. He's been great. The coaches are great. Mara's awesome back there. And it's great to have Bear here. It's awesome.
It seems like, by the way, that was MacKenzie Weegar. Good conversation. And here's a guy that said, yeah, look, Stanley Cup's the goals now. It's not making the playoffs. It's not having a winning record. It's about making deep runs in the playoffs and eventually bringing a Stanley Cup. The way the NHL is set up, honestly, I don't know if it's going to be in the next 2 years, the next 10 years. I have little doubt that the Mammoth are going to win a Stanley Cup.
I agree with you. I think it's more attainable because of the system. The system.
Yeah, the NBA, I can't say that with any amount of certainty with the Jazz that they'll ever win a title. Like I would hope so. I would love for that to happen. I just can't in any amount of confidence say, yes, in 5 years this could happen or 10 years. The Jazz are going to need the lottery. And by the way, good vibes coming up for a week from yesterday. That's going to be the draft lottery. If the Jazz are number 1, then I might change my perspective a little bit. If they're number 6 or 7, it's back to the old grind. So, but in the NHL, you locked up your superstars. So Cooley, Gunther, they're all locked down. You've got MacKenzie Weegar, who waived his trade clause to come here because he has so much belief in this team. You've got players that are rallying around this organization. It's becoming a destination location for free agents because they like the way the players are built or the players are treated and the facilities that are being built. So they're all in. You can't say that about the NBA, which is why I think the NHL is really going to thrive here.
Yeah, in conversation I had with Ryan before he came on air here, it's one of the things we talked about is the ability to lock guys up like you used to in the NBA. Those Carl and John eras happened because of the way the contracts were structured, and they were able to lock down guys for darn near their whole career. It's way different in the NBA now. You have a 3-4 year window at best, and you really have to rely on making solid draft picks that can come in and contribute at a higher level than just those rookie salary. I mean, that's where you really cheat the system.
Yeah.
If you can pick right, and again, that's asking a lot because, very few guys come in and actually make a crazy impact in their rookie season. So, but that is one of the things you take into account. One thing that stands out to me, in other exit interviews I read, guys that have won the cup, Sergachev with 2 cups. And he says, I think we have the right pedigree on this team and the leadership group and the core, the whole team. Starting with our owner and going down, I think everybody wants to win here. So, I loved hearing that from a guy who's won because he knows what it takes. Another guy, Ian Cole, who won 2. He says, I think we're beyond the point of hey, we're going to try to make the playoffs. No, we need to make the playoffs, put ourselves in a good position to win the Stanley Cup. That being said, there's a lot of things that go into winning the Stanley Cup. And part of it, you got to have good fortune. You got to have good luck. But I do believe the ownership group is solid and has made an impact in trying to lure other guys here. They've done it very, very wisely, but they'll invest the money where they need to. And then I've just been overwhelmingly impressed with Bill Armstrong, his vision, his even keel nature. But looking again, I did a deep dive through the prospects, and there is a sinew that goes through it. Guys that can really skate, guys that can get out and go, and size. In certain instances. So. I'm glad they're talking about it because that's the first step's getting to the playoffs and getting a taste. The next step is making that climb.
Yeah. And it feels like we're kind of blowing smoke here a little bit. And we are because of where this institution is and their development. But as you noticed, and probably looking at the media as a coach, the more you accomplish, the more, I don't want to say detractors, but the more you can nitpick because you expect a lot. So I think next year the media is going to treat the Mammoth a little bit different than they have the last 2 years because, okay, now this is not just a playoff team, a team that's expected to go far in the playoffs. That means your fans have a bar that's set. The media has a bar that's set. And if you fall below that, then there's going to be some hard accountability.
Which is one of another quote I use all the time. Hype and expectations have ruined many a show.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just true. So I do believe, I think you're right. I do believe the first 2 years this was so incredible. We have hockey in Utah, but now they've made the mistake of showing the fact that they can compete and nobody loves to win like Utahns love to win.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, there will be some hype and expectations, but that's part of the process. And I guess that's how you sharpen the saw as players. And, just like, Weegar talked about, he's been a plus player. I mean, that's incredible. I looked through his entire career, and he has been a plus player. He entered the league in 2016-17, and he's been a plus player every year but this one.
Wow.
And, it's crazy. Coming to Utah, he was actually a +2 in his time at Utah. It was in Calgary. It was a -33.
Well, there you go.
So he lost a lot of, as he talked about, even when you're great, you lose the momentum of what it feels like to be great. So this offseason, knowing he's going to come back and be on a team that's going to compete to try to go take the next step, that's going to make him even better.
All right. Coming up next, 97.5, the EKSL Sports Zone. We teased this earlier in the show. We have not had a chance to get back to it, but I want to go back to the NBA playoffs. You pulled some numbers on teams that have come back from 1-3 deficits. Everybody remembers the LeBron James doing it in the finals against the Golden State Warriors. The Jazz gave up one to the Denver Nuggets in the bubble back in 2020. It hasn't happened often, but we saw it happen twice this past weekend. Just how crazy was that, and how impressed was Coach with those performances? We'll talk about it next. 97.5, the EKSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LeCaux, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, coming up on Thursday, out and about, we'll be in Layton, saving you from yourself, because we know who you are. You're one of us, because we've done it as well.
You scrubs.
You scrubs, you screw up Mother's Day. You know better. You can't screw up Christmas. You can't screw up Valentine's Day. Definitely don't screw up her birthday. Don't screw up your anniversary. Well, guess what? This is right there with them, Mother's Day. Look, she gave you that 9-pound bundle of joy. You gotta reward her. You gotta be like, all right, let's celebrate you being a mother and taking care of the kids, doing all the stuff that the guys don't want to do or choose not to do. Keeping the house running the way that it should because you're a deadbeat. So all you have to do is go to Minky Couture coming up on Thursday or anytime this week. Mention the Zone. They'll give you a 50% off a normal priced blanket using the code ZONE50. So you can go online or you can go to any store and say, hey, Scott and Tim told me I'm a deadbeat, and they said I can fix that if I get a Minky Couture blanket. They'll say, yes, you are correct on all accounts. So here is 50% off. Go pick out a blanket and try to salvage your reputation with your wife.
And a robe.
Oh, robe, yeah. Robe goes a long way.
I'll be salvaging my reputation.
Are we going to get you one?
I'm going to go, I'm stopping by there to get one. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, I'm happy to bring you back one, man. Then you don't have to drive.
So you're telling me you don't want me to go out there?
No, I would love you to go out there.
Okay, geez,
see? Gaslight.
That's what he does, yeah.
what I'm going to ask them, who do we meet with up there?
Sandy.
Sandy. I'm going to ask Sandy if she can make me like a suit that I could wear in the studio.
Oh, there you go.
Like
a Minky suit.
Just, shirt, matching blanket pants.
I like it.
I would look like Bigfoot walking through the lobby.
That would be awesome.
Lloyd will take a picture of you out in the parking lot, too.
So there's Minky Man.
Yeah.
Minky Man.
Minky Man.
I think you're onto something there.
I'm going to see if Sandy can do it.
They're all about pushing the envelope. They went to the robe, and now they've gone to the pajamas. And now just like, hey, I just want like something that I can wear to work.
I got a hat from Next Gen the other day. I got a hat from Advanced. So that's another thing I want to wear. All the people that spend their money with us, I want to wear their stuff.
Rock their gear.
Yeah.
By
Since
the way,
we're on stream now.
By the way, we're going to talk a little bit about Advanced. You had the guys come over.
I did.
You're going all in on these guys.
Yeah. Well, if you walked into my house, one of the first things when we went in, we loved everything about it. But the windows, they did the thing they talk about with the heat.
Yeah.
And they've kind of lost the argon gas inside, and so it's a little bit of a sight for sore eyes. But what I did find out too is they're builder grade. This is, they definitely cut corners, which we hear about a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they said, we walked in. They were, first of all, Rob and Jordan came. And
you got both of them.
Yeah,
I
got
both heavy hitters.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan I've known as a kid, and so I think he jumped on board. But they did a great job, and we came in and got right to work and went through every window. And the cool part about it, there were a couple windows in there that were in spots, and I was like, let's just replace them all. I'm like, you know what? If I were you, I wouldn't do that one because it's, it's fine the way it is. So they talked me out of spending money, which was kind of cool.
So they're like, you know what?
That one's fine.
That's fine. Leave it there.
They were just small windows above showers and stuff.
And if they said no, if they would have told you no, you got to replace those, you'd be like, okay, if you say so, we'll do it. But
no, I told them. I said, let's just. And they're like, no, we don't need to do those. That'll save you, here and there. I appreciate that. The other thing that I appreciated was they were considerate of my time.
Yeah.
We were to meet at 2:30, so I busted back from. I think we're at Mazda that day. And I got there about 7 minutes to spare, and as I drove past the road to my house, I saw Rob sitting out there waiting for Jordan. And the minute 2:30 hit the door, they knocked on the door. So they were on time. They definitely valued our time, and we went through, showed them everything, sat down, and just like they said, they put a bid together. I was blown away. I thought it was going to be way more, and so we are on the schedule May 7th now to come over and measure everything. But we're replacing 20 windows.
Wow. That's awesome.
And I'm really excited about it.
That's so cool.
So it was a very quick, painless. I guess it's painful in some cases, but in my instance, I knew that needed to be done. I don't like the way they looked, and I'm going to save a ton of money from the sounds of it on energy as well.
Was that a joke right there? Painless.
Oh, geez, Lloyd.
I figured that's what he was going with.
I'm not
it was
that
right
smart.
There.
I would
it
like
was
to
right
be
there.
that smart. I do like to be a wordsmith, but in this case, I was focused on just telling my story.
I thought it was a great story up
It was
until
great.
one
until
point.
a couple
well,
of
hey, we get to hear that
rejections.
story again in the 1 o'clock hour. I'm excited.
Have you got the car crash thing yet?
What? No, I don't. Painless was great. I thought it was him.
It was not.
He
It
did
was
it.
you wrecking a beautiful story.
He did it.
And you need the car crash. It needs to be a
find
priority.
It. I'll find it. I'll see it.
All right. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. All right, so we've got a couple of games, a couple of instances where 3-1 meant nothing because you've got Orlando, who was up 3-1 against the Pistons. And we thought, oh, look, the Pistons season's a joke. You know what? All they did in the regular season meant nothing because they're going to get bounced by Orlando. Well, what? Detroit said, no, we won 60 games in the regular season for a reason. We're coming back and we're going to win this series. And they did, essentially blowing out the Magic at home and winning that game and that series 116-94. Cade Cunningham, 32, and dished out 12 assists in that game. Now, that was yesterday. On Saturday, it was Philadelphia, who was down to the Celtics 3-1, like we all expected. We anticipated Boston maybe even probably going to the NBA Finals, representing the East. And they were in cruise control. Then Joel Embiid wakes up Maxey wakes up, and just like that, Philadelphia ends up getting the win in Boston, knocking off the Celtics 109-100, and now the Celtics season is done. You surprised by either one of these? I'm really surprised by Boston.
I'm surprised by Boston. I felt like when Tatum came back and they started to really gel, that what Jaylen Brown and the rest of the guys had done while he was out was extraordinary. Because I did believe maybe in the beginning that they would tank this season or not necessarily worry about winning. But at the end of the day, they were great. Without him, when he came, it worked. And honestly, the undoing was what everybody said it would be the undoing all year long. And it was their inability to make three-point shots.
Yeah.
I mean, and they take a ton. They shot below 20%, or excuse me, below 30% in three games in the series. And I'm telling you that without that weapon for the way they were structured, they shot them quickly, they shot them often, and it just puts you behind the eight ball. And what Philly was able to do is go down and establish a guy to play through. And Embiid came back, and we were critical of that in the beginning, but it really paid dividends and worked. So the thing that stands out to me, I looked at it last night because we were dealing with all of these 3-1s that had been flipped, that I wanted to look up the numbers. And in the NBA, there was, including this weekend, there are 303 times that a series has gone 3-1. And the team that has been up has won 288 of those times. So just 15 times, and that's counting the ones we watched this weekend, has happened. So not a ton. And interestingly, Major League Baseball, 240 times it's reached 3-1, and 14 times the team with one has come through. The NHL, it's happened 617 times, and the team came back from 3-1 31 of those times. So very rare. And the fact that we stacked a couple of them. The Detroit one, to me, Detroit needed that kick in the butt.
Yeah.
Because I think they started to listen to everybody saying, are they going to be any good in the playoffs? And before they knew it, they were down 3-1. Kate Cunningham said yesterday after the game that they found themselves in the middle of the playoffs. And so that's a dangerous spot for the next group, because I think the physicality, especially now with the Celtics out, Detroit on physicality alone could win the East.
So you've got Detroit, certainly they've found themselves, but are we in a situation now? You ready for some obnoxious fans out there? Could the Knicks be coming out of the East?
I'm telling you, I don't know. They just like, I mean, they were at a pivotal point.
Yeah.
They were flirting with maybe getting beat by the Hawks, and they bowed their neck. There's a good chance. I mean, I think it's collision course right now. One team I will tell you that's not going to be there is the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
They approached Game 7 as casual as any team I've ever seen last night. And we're getting, they're getting beat pretty good in the first half, but they righted the ship. I just don't think defensively and physicality, I mean, they needed Jarrett Allen to have a superhuman game.
No, you're not going to be able to count on those games from him. Where he had 22 points and 19 rebounds and 3 block shots.
And Harden had 18 points, and 11 of them came at the line.
Oh, jeez.
And you know what he's doing on the defensive end. I mean, Toronto got back into this series by seeking out guys.
Yeah.
They sought out Donovan, went at him. They sought out Harden, they went at him. When Merrill's out on the floor, he's having to do a good job of covering his own. So that's the way the Raptors went at them. Physically, I just think the Cavaliers at this point are going to be outmatched.
How encouraging is it that Sam Merrill?
Who said that?
It was PK this morning.
Merrill. Sam Merrill.
Merrill.
They must say that in New Jersey, Arizona, California, Utah.
I was like, wait a minute. You mean Bountiful's Sam Merrill? Sam Merrill. But when you look at him, he's turned out to be one of their better perimeter defenders, if not their best perimeter defender.
Yeah, well, because he's in the right spot and he's trying. He's trying. I comically sometimes I watch Donovan in defensive series in pivotal moments, and he's completely turned around. Sam has to kind of be the adult in the room out there on the perimeter, and he's going to get beat his fair share. But I mean, there were times last night where they went at him a couple different times, and he stood his ground.
Yeah,
was able to get a stop, and that's really all you have to do is stop somebody a time or two, and they're going to go somewhere else.
Well, and that's the thing, too. I mean, obviously it's props to Sam, but also somewhat of an indictment on the rest of the team, too, when he's the best perimeter defender.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Schroeder can jump into the ball when he's in the game. I feel like Max Strus has a physicality to him, but laterally they're just so challenged. Like Harding getting a guy and trying to keep him out of the paint, or Donovan, it's just you're playing a tough game there.
Well, and, the fact that they've got to play the Pistons in game one, and the Pistons are going to be loving life where they're at right now, but a team that will just punch you in the mouth defensively in Detroit, or at least try to, that doesn't bode well for me if I'm a Cavaliers fan.
Well, they're going to punch you in the mouth defensively, and they're going to do it with more force than Toronto did it, because they've got more personnel. And then the second thing they're going to do is they're going to ad nauseum drive you to the paint, because that's where they score from. This team is not a big-time three-point shooting team. They'll shoot them when the opportunity arises, but their MO is to take you and put you into the paint and figure out a way to score right over you into the basket.
All right, 12:45. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Cole Bagley is going to join us coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. We'll get his thoughts on the locker room cleanout yesterday, what his impressions were from the coach, as well as the players who addressed the media for one last time this year before everybody goes their separate ways. MacKenzie Weegar sounds like he's got one hell of a place up in Ottawa. Got a place by the lake, nice little cottage, gets away out in nature.
Ken's, if you're out there and you want to, we could host a show from up there on the dock.
I'm sure you got Wi-Fi up there. We can make that work.
We can make that work. I would love to see that beautiful part of the country.
So that's his Cancun, is next to a lake in Ottawa.
And we'll get to Cancun later in the show.
All right, 12:46. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
G and the coach, Tim LaCote. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Did you make it through the ska era unscathed?
Yeah, that's fine. It's upbeat and positive. I like that. And Lloyd, you were crushing it. We got a tweet about it even, but I like the music. He's doing a bang-up job.
Absolutely.
Now somehow he's going to say, "Oh, wasn't I before?"
Wasn't I? I don't know what you want from me.
See, that's the thing. You can't even compliment Lloyd because he takes that as a knock.
The one thing I want
what drives me.
The one thing I want to be sure he knows is we appreciate him.
That's debatable.
Maybe.
Just here.
No, Lloyd's the best. Just ask him.
When he's asleep.
All right, so you look at the NHL playoffs. I asked this on a poll question earlier. I said, because we've done a ton of market research. I've worked for a few different companies, and all of them, we do a ton of research. Like the reason we talk about what we talk about more often than not is because we do a lot of research about what you as a listener want to hear. The old motto is play the hits. That's what we'll do. We'll play the hits. Whatever's hopping at that moment, we want to talk about. And so we do a lot of market research, and especially here at KSL, they're a big believer in the analytics and really diving down deep and finding out what people want to talk about. and I have seen this as a constant from 20 years ago to today. Salt Lake City in particular, and the Metro is a Jazz town, but it's not necessarily an NBA town, meaning that if the Jazz don't make the playoffs or if the Jazz get bounced from the playoffs, they're on out. People aren't really dialed into the NBA.
And I would say more so now than ever.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I mean, because it's even affecting old guys like me.
Yes.
I'll watch. I like to watch. I like Game 7s, but during the Mammoth run, if there was hockey on and, it impacted the Mammoth, I was going to watch a little of that.
So I asked that question in regards to the NHL. Now that the Mammoth have been eliminated, I asked if you will still be watching the NHL playoffs. And I'm actually a little curious. I was actually surprised by this. So my three options were, yes, I'm all in. Second one was, if it's a Game 7, maybe. And then the third, nah, I'll be back in October. And I actually thought the I'll be back in October would be 60, 65, if not 70%. And it was number one, but only 44%. 30% said, yes, I'm all in, which meaning, hey, it doesn't matter that the Mammoth are out. I'm bummed out about it, but I'm still watching NHL playoff games. And then 25% said, if it's a Game 7, maybe. I thought we would see more of that one than any of it because people would say, like, oh, yeah, I'm still going to pay attention, but I'm not going to be dialed in. I thought that's what would be far and away the leader in this thing. And then, but first off, it's I'll be back in October, 44%, which not surprising. But then 30% of our listening audience on the old X machine said, no, I'm locked in. I'm all about it. So if you've got a fan base that not only loves the Mammoth, but a good chunk of them are also dialed into the NHL, that's a real great way to build your fan base because they're hooked. They're all in now. I mean, they're dialed in, and you've got people that are be like, okay, if it's Carolina and whoever on a Thursday night, I'm still watching all 60 minutes of that thing.
Yeah, that's surprising to me. I thought that number would be higher too. I am the type when I'm involved, and I don't think I would say that the NFL playoffs are different because it's such a cultural thing here, and they're only one game. These series, you got to really commit. You got to commit to watching these things. And so, yeah, I'm surprised. I thought that it would take a little bit longer, but the bottom line is, and you said it yesterday when you walked out of the final game, and just the people that were on the plaza, even, this sport has taken root here, and it's in the blood of our people. And we know what happens when that happens. They support it like crazy.
Yeah, they'll take a bullet for you. I mean, honestly, there's a reason why Carlos Boozer never really got a foothold in the community. Darren Williams started to a little bit and then kind of backed off. Darren Williams did an incredible job his first few years, and then that waned near the back end of his time here in Salt Lake City. But there's guys like Jay Crowder, who would never have to buy a mill here in Utah ever again. Makes no sense, but he embraced the community. And they're like, okay, we don't care that you take bad threes all the time. We love you because you love us. Or at least you gave the impression that you love us. Trevor Booker, people love that guy. Guy's a marginal NBA player, but because he was a try-hard guy and busted his butt and said great things about living in Utah, people love that dude. I mean, you go down the list, there's these certain figures that have no business being uber popular here in Utah, but are because they acted like they wanted to be here. They represented well, and they busted their butt on the court. That's all people ask for.
And definitely that last one's really big here. They want guys to bust their butt.
Yeah.
Thurl Bailey is like, it's crazy to me every night, but walking in Delta Center, he's hard to miss. So you see him from a distance, and so you can see him, but everybody else can too. It's crazy how many people go up to him and want to interact and pictures every single time, every single one he takes care of with a smile. But it goes back to how fierce he was and how bad he wanted to win. And he came here at a pivotal time and kind of saw it through. So I'm with you. I think hockey, definitely. These guys, they are now part of our fabric, and the sport is too. So that's exciting to see, and it's got to be really exciting for the guys over there at Southtown.
Yeah.
that have you talk about the community. It's the youth programs are sold out for the foreseeable future, getting in and playing in that facility. So it's going to be interesting to now watch communities start to build rinks and take Ryan at his word and go out there and let's continue to build this hockey community here.
All right, we'll get the finishing thoughts from Cole Bagley, NHL and Mammoth Insider at KSLSports.com. We'll get his thoughts as the season is now wrapped up for the Mammoth, what he learned yesterday at the final media availability for this Mammoth team. Next, this is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good night's sleep.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.